Hi guys, my name is Vlad.
And my name is Mitra.
And we wanted to put together a video for buyers out there that are thinking whether they should dive headfirst into the marketplace and buy something right now, or they should wait for a few months or maybe up to a year, given what's been happening in the market since, say, March of this year. It moved back quite a bit. So a lot of people are sitting on the fence thinking what to do, not sure what the Bank of Canada is going to do, what the interest rates are going to be, where the prices are heading, etc. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to go over with you a few numbers based on a set of assumptions that we use. And we want to stress right from the outset that the assumptions that we're using are our assumptions. They should not be your assumptions necessarily. We're going to be going over a spreadsheet, and we're going to share a link to that spreadsheet. So actually you'll have an option of playing with the numbers, assumptions specifically yourselves. And the rest of the results, the rest of the numbers are going to be calculated automatically.
So just also clarify, our assumptions are also hypothetical. It's not that we do believe in it. We just took some numbers as a variable that we can change, play with, and see what would be the outcome.
Yeah, fair enough. Exactly. So for the first set of assumptions or the numbers that we use, we would like to go to the Bank of Canada website and just take a quick look at what they're reporting as far as the current inflation rates and policy interest rates. So the total CPI, Consumer Price Index inflation, is reported at 7.7%. We all intuitively know that it's higher than that. Some people say a bit higher, some people would say a lot higher. Definitely we see it at the gas pump, we see it at the grocery store. And so here we scooped over to the page where there's a more expanded view with the graph of where the Bank of Canada wants for the CPI inflation range to be, and the range that they find acceptable is between 1% to 3%. So that's the expectation. At 7.7%, we are well above this band, and the government needs to take some very dramatic action to bring it down. Also, it's worth remembering that inflation is a lagging indicator, and whatever action the government takes, it will take them 6 to 8 months to see the results of that reflected in the numbers. So to some degree, they're shooting in the dark, and it makes it even harder to predict the actions of a Bank of Canada in terms of by what percentage they will be increasing an interest rate every time there's an interest rate announcement. Now, let's look at the opportunities that the Bank of Canada will have to announce new policies and new interest rates. And there's going to be 4 between now and the end of the year. The 5th one just happened on June 1st. It was just about a month ago where the interest rate went up by 50 basis points, i.e. 0.5%. Mm-hmm. Now, all eyes are on the BOC, the Bank of Canada, for July 13th. It's expected that the interest rate will go up by at least 0.5 point. And Mitra and I have read a report from the from RBC, from Royal Bank of Canada, just about a week and a half ago, where they were speculating that the rate, overnight rate, could go up by as much as 1%. Which is going to be an extremely sharp increase if that happens, and the markets will undoubtedly react. The buyers will suddenly see a substantial drop in affordability just as a consequence of that. And then as a consequence of the decreased affordability, prices will go down as well. Then the interest rate announcement is also going to happen on September 7th, October 26th, and December 7th of this year. So all in all, 4 opportunities to make changes to the current policy interest rate.
But also can be any other policy changes. It's just not related to interest rate. These are opportunities for anything else that can come and create some balance in the marketplace.
Of course, but as far as the Bank of Canada is concerned, right, exactly. But those are the dates, and it's widely expected that we're going to see the overnight interest rates at 3 to 3.5% by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Now, overnight rate is one thing, but what we wanted to take a look at as well is what the one of the 5 major Canadian banks is going to report as far as the 5-year fixed mortgage, and we're going to go to the RBC site for that and take a look at what they're saying for 5-year fixed. So here on the right-hand side, you see a little table that they've put together, and a 5-year fixed mortgage at this point is offered in the special offers column for 5.34%. Just about a week and a half ago, it was at 5.09%, so that is creeping up as well. As the expectations, everybody is speculating about what the BOC is going to do. As the expectations are changing, the 5-year fixed rates are changing as well, and of course they have a tendency to increase. Now, these numbers will form a part of our assumptions on a spreadsheet that we're going to go to and look at the numbers together with you as well. Once again, a reminder, you'll have an opportunity of playing with the numbers on the spreadsheet yourselves. We'll provide you with the link. And let's go to the spreadsheet. For clarity, all the numbers that you see that are in blue are the input values. And these are the numbers that you can change. So this forms our set of assumptions. You should have your own assumptions when it comes to that. And everything else, all the numbers that are in black, are the numbers that are calculated automatically.
Yeah, also consider that if you want to pay less down payment and go with the CMHC or any other mortgage insurance premium, then you need to adjust the interest rate, the down payment, but at the same time the purchase price to be below $1 million.
Yeah, so these two fields, the purchase price of a house and the down payment, once you adjust them, you'll see changes in the spreadsheet, and all of a sudden you will see that the CMHC premium is calculated as well, and it's taken into account as far as your annual profitability or loss is concerned. So back to the numbers, we're buying a very simple hypothetical house for $1 million, which is a bit below of an average price point in Toronto at this point, some 20% below, as a matter of fact. And our down payment is the most standard one of 20%, i.e. $200,000, mortgage $800,000. Here's an interesting number. Before we get to that though, let's talk about the rate. So 5-year fixed is at 5.3, right? Based on what RBC is suggesting, we have an amortization of 25 years. And let's look at the appreciation as well over the last several decades, like 30, 40 years. The average appreciation for properties in Toronto was approximately 5%. Yeah. If you look at the performance in the past 17, 18 years, almost 2 decades, the appreciation was at 6.7%. If you look at the past couple of years, it was in double digits, so way above these expectations. So, you can use any number you want, but we decided to go with a relatively conservative number that has been true for people in the past 40 years or so.
And that's based on the appreciation from the second year.
Right. So right now, we're going to go back to the decline in the marketplace. The market is trending down that we're kind of seeing since March of 2022. And we're saying, okay,
mid-February. It literally started from mid-February.
Okay, from mid-February. And we're saying that between now, we're in July right now, in the beginning of July, and the end of the year, the market will go down by a further 5%. So that's our speculation. Yeah. Your number might be higher, might be lower. Things might restore all of a sudden, and the market will rebound in September, October. Who the hell knows? That's essentially the message, right? Who knows? We're using 5%.
Also, considering that we already made the adjustment from mid-February till now, that could be anywhere from 25% to 35%, and then extra 5% till the end of the year.
Yeah, between now and the end of the year, exactly. After that, in 2023, and that's what Mitra was referring to, also for clarity's sake, we're saying the market is going to rebound because of the magic that the Bank of Canada and the government regulations are going to create in the marketplace, and all of a sudden the conditions are going to become more favorable for property prices to continue rising again. So if that happens, then 2023 is going to be a fantastic year, and we'll go back to our standardized appreciation of 5% that we've seen in the past 40 years.
And not only that, simply the supply is out of control. There is nothing you can do with the supply or the number of immigrants coming to the Canada that they need to have a place, and these are the things that could help the market to appreciate.
Of course. So, on the one hand, what could happen is that some people would say, well, I don't have to sell. So I've tried it. I'm not seeing anything close to numbers that I saw in February, which is kind of my number because it's been anchored in my mind. And now I want to hold off for a few years. Some people can afford that, and they can pull out their properties, pull their properties out of the market. On the other hand, right, people that are immigrating may bring the prices up because what we're expecting with 400,000 immigrants
Yes.
next year. So again, this is a fairly, not fairly, but a very complicated issue, a very complicated problem to try and solve and predict where the property prices are going to go. It's very similar to trying to predict the weather 3 months out. Almost impossible.
Yeah.
So, with our set of assumptions, what we're seeing here, one more thing we would like to cover is that once you rent out a property, in many cases, people are interested in renting out a part of the home that they're buying. It could be one of the floors, it could be a basement. Very often it is, as a matter of fact, a basement. And that will bring them some additional income on an annual basis, and it will help out with the mortgage payments as well. So here we're making an assumption that a part of the property that you purchase is rented out, and the rent that you're bringing in is very conservative. It's $1,200 a month. What you would say an average basement rents out for about 15?
Easy in this market that the rent has gone up by 25%. So definitely.
Yeah, year over year, 25% increase in rents. I mean, who could have imagined that a year ago?
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. So this number is uber conservative at $1,200, and it brings you $1,400, $400 a year in additional income to help out with mortgage payments. All the mortgage payments are calculated here. You have the interest, you have the principal, and you have the total. And then if you were to sell a property within approximately a year, this is the number that you would realize on the sale. Right? So that's how it goes based on the market depreciation or appreciation.
And that is where we need to talk about really the why any buyers wants to buy. Is that buying with the speculation in mind to sell, flip, or buy and hold? This is not the market for speculators to buy and renovate and sell within a year or two, given the uncertainty of the market, but definitely buy and hold over time can bring the outcome that any potential investors could be looking for.
Yeah, so this is a scenario where we're looking at a purchase of a property today. We're going to switch over to a spreadsheet where we're actually comparing buying a property today versus buying a property a year from now, assuming that we're so great at forecasting things that we'll be able to buy a property next year at the absolute bottom in the marketplace. But let's just, before we get to that second spreadsheet, let's just finalize talking about this one. As you see with our current set of assumptions within the next 6 years, you come out ahead. Even though you're living in the property and to be fair, you're renting out a part of it, but you coming out ahead, if you were to sell it 6 years down the road, you're making approximately 4.85% per year. And your equity increases on the sale from $200,000 to $258,000. This is a rough calculation in the sense that it doesn't account for additional expenses like real estate fees, lawyer fees, potential appraisals, etc., etc. But it gives you a sense of where you are just based on the financials of the market or the numbers related to the market dynamics.
And that also considering that you are upgrading your lifestyle, you can enjoy renovating your home, either sweat equity yourself or simply hire contractors, but that's an opportunity to upgrade not only the lifestyle but also the value of your home.
Exactly. So now let's look at the comparison scenario where we are going to see the property purchase today, just like in the previous spreadsheet, versus a property purchase next year.
Mm-hmm.
So as you see here, we have two columns, so two sections of the spreadsheet, buying today and buying next year. The buy today spreadsheet is identical to the one that we just looked at. And within 6 years, you're coming out at 4.85% to $250,000 that you will pull out as your equity. And on the right-hand side, let's just go through these assumptions. The purchase price assumes that the market has gone down by 5%, so this number would control that. And you buying at the absolute bottom. You're so great at predicting that you figured out when the market is at its lowest and you bought right there and then. So $950 was your purchase price. 20% down payment, here the same. And then as soon as you purchased, the next day the market started appreciating at a standard appreciation rate of 5%. One thing that, the only thing, as a matter of fact, in this assumptive environment for next year that's not in your favor is that the interest rate has gone up presumably by 1 or 2 points. So if we're expecting for the Bank of Canada to raise interest rates to approximately 3 to 3.5%, it stands to reason that the fixed rate from one of the 5 major banks is going to increase to approximately 7%.
With the stress test.
With the stress test, actually, it's going to be 7 plus 2.
Plus 2.
Right?
That's right.
So when you're going to be valued on the basis of what you earn and what you can afford as a mortgage, you're going to be compared, or your ability to pay is going to be compared against 9% and not 7%. 7% is what you're actually going to be paying once you have the mortgage.
That's how much you are going to be charged, but you are going to be qualified based on 9%.
Yeah. It's pretty dramatic. So at the 5%, 5.3% mortgage rates, your outgoing payments would be at $4,800 approximately, and at 7%, there is a $500 jump, $5,371. Almost $600 jump. So yeah, that's also pretty dramatic. But you bought at the bottom, and you can only go up from here. One other thing that is different in the buy next year scenario, if you're a first-time home buyer, is the rental payments that you'd have to make while you're waiting for the market to go down. And this is the field that controls that. This $3,000 that you see on the left-hand side is your monthly outlay.
That would be
for a rent, and it's reflected here. So that's
could be mortgage
rent.
obligations for a year, or if they,
of course,
somebody had another property and they want to upsize. Yeah.
So what are we seeing here? 5% market depreciation if you were to buy today, then 5% market appreciation. It's right here. 5% market appreciation after the second year at the interest rate of 5%. After 6 years, you are at 4.85% gain versus
waiting
a lower down payment, a lower purchase price for the next year, a high interest rate, high monthly payments, and 1, 2, 3, 4, we're talking about 5 years here. 3, 4, 5, 6.
The same year, in fact,
7?
2027.
Well, I mean, we start from 22, but we're selling in the same years, right? So the period of holding here is 1 year less, and you coming out at 3.64%. So based on this set of assumptions, it still makes sense to buy today versus waiting, because this interest rate increase will have a dramatic impact on the final numbers. As you play with the numbers yourself, you may come to the same conclusion, you may come to a different conclusion, but what's most important is that you come to some sort of a conclusion based on the numbers, and this is a quantitative way of looking at what's happening in the marketplace based on assumptions that you're making.
Yeah, but also we all know that it's just not always about numbers. We have to make decisions in life that could be why actually in the first place we want to buy a property. Is that because we want to upsize, change the lifestyle? Are we going to raise a family, have more kids? These are the things that would definitely have a huge impact on your decision making. Knowing these numbers would help you to decide what do you want to do at the end. Do you want to put everything on hold, or do you want to make a decision now? And at the same time, knowing what would be the impact of that decision over a 5-year period. If somebody has literally not much of a urgency and wants to wait, and they're simply okay or flexible, then that's a different story. But if you are a family, or you're at a certain age that you need to make a move sooner than later, then these are the things that we need to consider. So the why is very important. The impact on your decision making, of course, over a certain period is important. And also the outcome. What would be the outcome for you at the end? Do you prefer to improve your lifestyle today? Do you want to create opportunities to move to a property that you have the opportunity to renovate and use your sweat equity and all the resources you have to bring the value of your home to another level? These are everything that we need to take in consideration.
Yes, all of that makes total sense. And when we're making predictions, we should remember a few things. So first of all, Ray Dalio has a interesting phrase that those that live by the crystal ball often end up eating a lot of broken glass. So making predictions is treacherous and doesn't always pay off. And also we might be thinking, well, we're not the professionals, we're not best suited to make predictions, or we actually might feel the opposite. We might feel that the professionals are full of it and we're in a much better position to make predictions. Certainly either one can be true. What I can say is that when we talk to the economists or the people that we know that are in the industry and we gauge their ability to predict the future as far as what's going to be happening in real estate specifically, if they had the ability to do that, all of them would have been independently wealthy by now. But unfortunately, what we see is that all of the people that we've been talking to are still gainfully employed. So their ability to make predictions definitely didn't make them wealthy. Be careful when you're making predictions based on numbers. And Mitra was absolutely 100% correct that it might not be about the numbers for you at all. This might be a lifestyle change related consideration, set of considerations. As always, if you guys have any questions or something is unclear, feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to have a conversation with you. We'll be happy to clarify things, and we'll be happy to project things with you to the best of our ability, communal ability, when we're having a conversation with you. The number is going to be on the screen. The link to the spreadsheet is going to be on the screen. Again, just a quick reminder, the spreadsheet is going to be read-only. So what you'd have to do is you'd have to make a copy of it to play with it. And the values in blue are the input values. Everything else is calculated automatically. Anything else, Mitra, that we should mention?
Yeah, I just want to emphasize the fact that at the same time, you always need to think long term for any investments you make. And remember, whatever decision you make is not just for a year or two, it's long term. We are here to help. We are here to run through those numbers with you that you can see perhaps you are not only looking at 5-year term, you are looking for 10 years. What's going to happen in 10 years? We are here for you to help you to make a right decision.
And we'll support you in whatever decision you're going to make.
Absolutely.
Peace out. So we're going to see you next time.
See you next time.